NFL Network and Red Zone. Even pay-per-view events. Watch 400 local network channels from Panama City and most markets throughout the country. Fox, ABC, CBS, and NBC. It's more than sports. Scorpion TV offers premium movie channels like HBO, Cinemax, Stars, 200 plus entertainment and news networks. Or watch thousands of movies on demand. All for just $45 a month when you use the ESPN NW promo code at checkout. Watch on up to 5 devices at the same time. Perfect for sharing with family and friends. Scorpion TV gives you everything you want for less. Cut the cord, not the fun. To score Scorpion TV, go to ESPNPC.com and click on the Scorpion TV logo. Don't forget our promo code ESPNNW.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the next evolution of sports talk radio. The big stories, biggest, from college to the pros, interviews with the newsmakers, sports betting, your phone calls, and more. And now, we're taking the inside drive with Ryan Mulvey.
I love it.
Broadcasting from the Gulf Plus studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And a good morning, Northwest Florida. This is 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. The Inside Drive is taking over the radio waves, coming to you live from the Golf Plus Studios. Be sure to visit Golf Plus for all of your golfing needs. You can call the show, text the show, 850-215-6290. We are streaming on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. The social media name, ESPN Northwest Florida. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. You can download our app. It is on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. ESPN Northwest Florida. Download us. Take us with you everywhere. Beach flags today are red, so be careful out there. Knee deep is too deep. James Fife here, filling in for Ryan Mulvey on this Wednesday. With me today, LSU Jeff. How are we doing this morning?
Doing great. I'm not knocking any red flags. And how many people really stay knee deep?
No, I mean, it's one of those, for a red flag, you don't, you'll see people treating the water basically still the same. But, hey, be careful. Swim near a lifeguard. Look out for the rip currents. You can kind of see them. You'll see the water going back. If you see the water going back really hard, everybody, that's a rip current. Stay away from that part of the beach at that moment. And if you get caught, don't swim directly back to the shore. Ride it out. Swim to the side. Once it stops pulling you back, then you can swim to shore. That is when safety is there. Randy Williams also with us today, hitting the buttons, making the ones and twos happening. We're going out to the live world of radio because of that man right now.
Just for now.
Just for now. Who knows? He might hit one of them buttons, and who knows what'll happen when the button is pressed.
That's not good.
Not good. All right.
We'll be all right.
Well, last night's scores, not a whole lot happening last night. We had the ESPYs. We had a couple of WNBA games. Let's get us over to the scoreboard last night for the WNBA. So Wednesday, WNBA, handful of games. The Dream taking on the Sky. The Dream defeat the Sky 86-49 in Chicago. The Lynx taking on the Mercury. That game ends 79-66 in favor of the Lynx from Minneapolis, Minnesota. The Storm defeat the Valkyries 67-58 from Seattle, Washington. The Liberty taking on the Fever. No Caitlin Clark for the Fever in this game, and the score shows it, 98-77 in Brooklyn, New York. And the Wings taking on the Aces in Arlington, Texas. The Aces on the road get the victory over the Wings, 90-86. Not a lot of other sports things going on in terms of sporting activities last night, but there was the ESPY Awards, and we will cover the big winners of the ESPYs later. Get into some news and notes of the day. The NFL Players Association has sent a letter out saying that they are 100% in the corner of Lloyd Howell Jr. And it was not just the NFLPA that sent this out, but it was the directing board of the NFLPA. So that doesn't mean all of the union members were on board with this, but it does mean that the kind of the head honcho guys of the union who are kind of organizing the activities of the next CBAs and things like that have sent out a letter of confidence. And this is one of those stories that just keeps sticking with me. I don't see this one ending too well. Yes, the NFLPA can send that letter out. The NFLPA can send that letter out to us, to ESPN. It can send it out even to the union members that they are representing. Now, it doesn't mean that those union members are happy. I don't really know anybody in the NFL right now that I can go up and ask, hey, Mr. Union member, how do you feel about your executive director, the guy that's trying to get you the most money, has a vested interest in being an owner? That's just too much of a conflict of interest for me, people. The NFLPA is saying, no, we didn't have anybody come up and tell Mr. Howell that he needs to think about leaving. No, that never happened. Maybe a union member came up and said that to him, but it wasn't us that said it. So you're telling me that you guys didn't say it, but somebody that was within the union sees that as a problem? So you're saying that you, as the head honchos of the union, not a problem, but the guys behind it see it as a problem? This is a problem.
I have a problem. we all
got
have
problems.
We got problems here. I have a problem when people say stuff, especially in news articles, and they'll say they or this group, and it's like, no. It wasn't the whole group as a collective. Like we were talking about the Big Ten trying to force the SEC to go to a 9-game football schedule, saying like, no. It's not the whole Big Ten that's doing this. It's individual schools and individual people that are saying this. You don't have a collective just screaming. I mean, I don't think there is like groups of people that yell like that.
Yeah, like the AD from the University of Illinois is not walking down to the AD of Arkansas going, you know what, guys?
Yeah.
You need to have 9 games. No, that AD doesn't care. Mm-hmm. That AD just needs to know how many games he's got to organize in what kind of fashion.
Yeah. And it's funny, well, I'm trying to remember what the article I was reading about. I think it was Stoops at SEC Media Days. He was talking about the 9-game schedule and about how hard it is to already play 8, and then they are locked in with Louisville every year, right?
Yeah.
So they've got this level of competition every year, that they have to deal with. You want to add another hard game to that schedule, and then you're locked into 10 of your 12 games as being, I don't want to say potential losses, but pretty much for Kentucky.
For Kentucky, it'll make a much more difficult schedule.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny. The biggest soundbite we had at any SEC coach at SEC Media Days was Kentucky. I mean, come on. This is a dark day. We don't have any of the big guys saying anything crazy or stupid that are sound bites. People are listening to, not Mark Richt, Kirby Smart from Georgia. Yeah, a little bit, but that's, there's no craziness going on at SEC Media Days.
Do you think it's
sad?
Do you think it's kind of the coaches just keeping their head down right now because of all the mass changes that we're seeing on the landscape of college football?
No, I think this is just their personality. Like Mike Leach from Mississippi State, every year, sound bites.
Oh God, he was great.
Yeah, and then there was other ones that have been sound bites. Of course, Spurrier's long gone. I can't remember who the other South Carolina coach was that gave some good sound bites, but Coach O's gone from LSU. He was a great soundbite guy. I mean, people just thought he was just loony crazy, but he's just different.
No, he was totally different, but he totally gave out some good sound bites that after you listen to him, you go, that's a weird way of saying it, but I like it.
Yeah. It's like the senator from Louisiana, John Kennedy. You ever listen to his sound bites? You just can't help but laugh.
You sit there and you have to think about half a second, like, oh, okay, and you process it, and you're like, okay, that makes sense after I have to process it.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way, but here we go.
So I am just worried about the NFLPA and in the NFL just kind of in general. And I don't really want a lockout. I don't really want scabs. I don't want to miss really any football. We need to just have some agreements here, guys.
So is the number one point of contention, do you think it's the salary cap? Or
I'm not sure what the number one point of contention right now to get into the next CBA is, because they still have 2 or 3 more years before that conversation fully has to go through. But you always start that at least. Like baseball right now, they've already kick-started, having the CBA talks, and it doesn't expire until December of 2026. But you've got to have these talks to make sure you don't run up against the wall. Like, you don't want to start December 1st when your contract runs out December 15th, because they're going to have a lot of discussions on this that are going to go back and forth, guaranteed, because there's a lot of money involved on this.
It's been so long since we've had a lockout that we almost feel so safe and secure from it not happening that we don't see, I don't know about you, but I don't see it happening in the next 10 to 15 years, any kind of lockout. But
baseball, maybe. We pseudo had a lockout for baseball, but people forget because at the same time the lockout happened in baseball, the country got shut down.
Yeah.
So we just totally lost sight of that.
Yeah.
And something did go through to get us to the point now where we do have the CBA through 2026 for baseball. So did we miss any games because of this lockout in baseball? No, COVID took care of that problem for us. So we didn't really have that lost time. And I don't think we would have had too much lost time, because when they did have the agreement, it wasn't that far behind of, when the season would have started. So I think it would have been more of they would have had time to make it up and people wouldn't have been so mad.
The idea just popped in my head that, with COVID and everything being shut down, with so many less cars on the road, they should have been building more roads while we were shut down.
Oh, absolutely. Like what we're doing right now on Back Beach. Oh man, could you imagine doing that during COVID?
It would have been,
there would have been like 3 cars going down in an hour.
Oh my God.
You could have just okay, we're just closing everything down. If you got to, drive down the sidewalk or something. People already do that around here, just driving down the sidewalk. I don't condone driving down the sidewalks. Please stop driving down the sidewalk, people. It's not a good idea. Don't say, hey, I heard it on the radio. No, you didn't.
Not from the sky.
No, you didn't. So it's I think it might get a little contentious. We'll just see what happens, but it's not in a position that I really like right now. And the Major League Baseball Players Association, Tony Clark, the guy that is running the show there, has come out and just basically said that the salary cap is a non-starter for them. So is that signaling? Is that posturing? I don't know. Is a salary cap coming in baseball? I think the owners desperately want it. I really do. I think the owners desperately want it. I think the players desperately don't want it. And I almost think if you ask most fans, I think most fans out there would say they would like to see a cap and a floor. And I think baseball has a bigger issue with the floor than they do the cap. Because I think the bigger issue in baseball right now is what the Dodgers doing not great? No. Kicking the can down the road, putting all that money into escrow for Ohtani and those guys. I'm not a big fan of that. I think they need to have, and Major League Baseball contracts are guaranteed, so I can't say they need to be guaranteed. They need to be averaged out, like what you do in the NHL and NBA, where, okay, you sign a 6-year deal for $60 million. It's $10 million a year. It doesn't matter if in the agreement on paper it says, okay, the first year you're at, just getting $2 million, and the last year you'll get $16 million of it. I just want to see an average across the board.
I totally 100%, not even flinchingly agree with that. Because borrowing against the future, like the Saints are the worst for it. Oh my God, they're like, oh, we'll sign Alvin Kamara, but we'll only pay him $2 million this year and $30 million next year and $40 million the year after. They just been backing themselves up for a few years now, even when Sean Payton was there. So we've been doing this for 5-6 years now, and it's awful. I don't think it's. Look at Bobby Bonilla. We got 10 more years of the Mets playing.
Bobby still getting paid.
10 more years. That's crazy.
Still getting paid. A little bit different for Bobby, because when he retired, basically the Mets came up to him and said, hey, instead of just giving you a big lump sum right now, how about we just give you $1 million over the next 25 years or something? And Bobby Bonilla said, sure.
Yeah.
And now it's been
So
turned
smart.
into a show. I actually kind of like how they turned it into a show. I really wish, like on Bobby Bonilla Day, they would just like walk out and like give him one of those publisher clearinghouse checks and like big signs and like shaking hands, you know,
And,
because
and
you
the
got the big old trophy.
sad part is this isn't just sports that they do this stuff for. I don't know if you ever knew about the parking meters in Chicago.
How they handle it?
Oh my goodness. They sold it to a private company.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And they took like a few $1 million off of it. And then they said, okay, you have the contract for the next 75 years. And they've already made like $9 million past what they paid for it to the city. They're already $9 million in the profit. And they have another, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, another like 50 years to go.
52 years or something like that left on the whole contract thing. And it's like, oh my goodness, that was such a horrible deal. The city of Chicago should be just
Yeah, you got to
reprimanded
kick
for that.
yourself on that one.
Whoever did that contract should have just, you just relinquish your retirement.
I mean,
city.
it's one of those things I bet you the city is just looking at, well, we have to pay X number of people to go around and read those meters. Do we really want to have to deal with that?
And now everything's digital.
Yeah.
You download an app, you pay, they get their money. They very rarely have somebody coming around and check.
Oh, I'm sure not anymore. 'Cause I'm sure now it's, you know, you stick your quarter in
cameras.
and it's on, boom.
Oh, they probably have cameras, and it probably indicates whether there's a car there and if they paid or not.
Yeah.
Up through a certain time.
That or probably just,
betcha.
you know, probably, yeah, like a little camera right on, you know, the quarter
street.
slot that just looking down there and goes, yeah.
Yeah, and
there's
it's probably
something
covering
there.
like 20 or 30 slots on that street, you know, these street cameras. And all
Yeah,
that.
so you can just see, hey, look, go down there, write that guy a ticket, please.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That is,
we went off topic
yeah,
again.
went off topic, but so
But I
MLB
agree with the whole thing where you're saying smooth out what they get paid per year.
Yeah.
And then that way it's not as much cheating with manipulating pay.
Yeah, if you just have a flat, so that way you know it's like Ohtani is signed for 8 years, $80 million. You know that he's going to get all of that money in that time period. Not, you know, okay, we're just going to give him $1 million for the next 80 years.
So now there is some revenue sharing in baseball, right? Like the
There
Yankees,
is a revenue share.
So if the Yankees make like $1 billion, they have to give like $50 million towards spreading out along the whole league.
So the cost sharing in Major League Baseball is minorly with your ticket sales, but is mostly through your TV, radio kind of ad revenue where most of the sharing comes from. And Major League Baseball is also in that same pot with the national broadcasts. So that way the national broadcast also, you know, like 60%, 70%, whatever it is, stays with the mothership at MLB, but then that 30% gets thrown into the same pot that gets divided out evenly amongst everybody. And that's something else that could be talked about, but that's not really a CBA union issue. That's more of a operational issue with Major League Baseball, and I've got other thoughts and ideas for that I'm sure most people would find quite boring, but I'm fine with instituting almost a heavily socialistic sharing of cash in Major League Baseball, so that way teams like the Reds, teams like Kansas City Royals that are in absolutely tinier markets can have a better chance, a better availability, a better affordability of signing your guys like Ohtani, Judge, Bryce Harper when they hit the market.
So then you look at a team like the Green Bay Packers. I think that's the smallest market.
That's going to be one of the smaller markets for any major league or major teams.
Actually, I don't think there is one that's smaller.
I don't think so. It's a very small.
I know Buffalo's bottom 5, and so is it Columbus, Ohio? I don't know, somebody like that.
Columbus isn't huge. They don't have an NFL team, so
But
they're
NHL, right?
they got an NHL team and a Major League Soccer team. So you're filling up at least smaller stadiums with that.
I know that city's been getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but you know.
No, it's a good growth market. It's it's.
So how does Green Bay even survive like that? I mean,
They've been around. They've been around so long. They still sell out the seats. It's the only one that has a group. Like when I say group, I mean if you're a season ticket holder for the Packers, you are part of ownership. That's how that works.
I thought you had to live within the city.
No, if you are part of the season ticket holders, they are the ones that are part of the conglomerate ownership with, I do believe, what's the guy's name? Murphy. Murphy is the CEO CFO, all that kind of guy. So, and it's always kind of interesting to watch the Packers because it is a quote unquote publicly held company. You can actually look at the profits, losses, and everything like that, where everybody else, you don't get to see those things.
Could you imagine them cutting a dividend?
Oh, I mean, I don't think they do, but they could. That would be interesting. Oh, you're
pay us to show up to the games, season ticket holder.
Well, we did fairly well this year, guys. We'll give you 5 cents for your chair.
Here's your free popcorn and a beer.
Here's your dividend. Here's your nickel. Yay!
My goodness.
Yeah, I think it'd be better off just putting it back into the stadium for that point.
My famous little story of shenanigans is was it the Budweiser people? Right. I guess is it the Bush family? It's the Bush family.
Bush family.
Yeah. How they were told that they couldn't name the stadium after
Budweiser.
After Budweiser, a beer, right?
Yep.
And so you know what they did?
They named it after Mr. Bush.
Yeah, the family. Bush.
Yeah.
Bush
And
Stadium.
then after the stadium got built,
they created Bush beer.
exactly.
Oh my God.
That's great marketing. I love that one.
This is so brilliant.
That one was a smart move right there. Yeah, that was a smart move where it's like, okay, fine, you won't let me name it Budweiser Stadium? How about I just name it after myself? And then I'll have my company make a beer named after me. That's one of those you look at it and go, all right. I see how you got around the system there. That's a nice little way to get around the system. So no issues from me on that one. I kind of appreciate that.
I'm trying to remember what they called Dome Foam. That's what they called the Saints beer. It wasn't an official name, but that's what everybody nicknamed the draft beer at the Superdome.
Was it
Foam.
Was it still like just your regular like Light or Bush or anything, or were they actually making a special beer for the Superdome?
No. It was
Okay.
like Bud Light, which is like that's like the beer in New Orleans for years and years. Though Ultra has been selling like a lot more over the years. Recently, Ultra's been coming up and up and up.
Yeah, just in general, I'd say that one is a true fact.
But it's weird because just like you have, Coke and Pepsi areas of the country.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, Budweiser's controlled New Orleans for a long time in the exterior, around New Orleans. And then you go to the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and it's like Coors Light or Miller Lite. I can't remember which.
Yeah, kind of weird because, Coors is definitely a Mountain West type of thing.
Yeah. But you'll have like parts of the country that are fractionized.
So the All-Star Game viewership, we discussed the Home Run Derby had a 5% increase in viewership, but the All-Star Game actually had a decrease by 3.5%. Figure that one out.
And it was a competitive game with names.
A competitive game with names, and we had the swing off at the end, so something new and different for people to see.
Yeah.
Did have had an average of 7.1 million viewers.
So it was 6-0 till the 7th inning?
Yeah, 6-0 until the 7th inning, and then it was 6-4 going into the 9th, and then became 6-6 in the 9th inning.
So you know how people turn off, or
if it gets out of hand.
Yeah. Is there a famous game that you remember where you turned off a game thinking it was over with and it wasn't?
I can't really. I'm sure I have done it because we've all done it. Let's face that way.
We have.
I am sure I have done it. I just can't really think of one coming to my head right now where I went, oh, man, that was a great comeback. Because over the past couple of years with, streaming through the internet, I can get on my cell phone, I can get on a computer. I got 2 TVs set up. So I've always just kind of, even when I went away from a game, I still probably had it set up somewhere on a smaller screen so I could kind of sort of still keep up with it.
Yeah.
So I can't really. I know I have. I totally know I have. I just cannot come up with one right now to the top of my head.
I know when I was younger, I definitely turned off a game, and the next morning I woke up and I was like, "Oh, that was such a blowout last night." And then I find out that the team came back and won. And it happens from time to time.
All right. So when we get back, we will discuss the ESPY winners from last night. This is the Inside Drive coming to you live from the Golf Plus Studios, 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Keep the game going with ESPN Northwest Florida. Just because you get out of the car doesn't mean the Sports Talk and Live play-by-play have to end. Just say, hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida. From Michigan Avenue to the man cave, from the car to the kitchen, we've got you covered. Keep the game going. Hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Thursday. A mixture of some sun and definite thunderstorms this afternoon and evening with a wind coming out of the south around 17 miles per hour and the high of 85. Tonight, look for partly cloudy skies with a temperature near 81. Tomorrow, a high around 86 and a mixture of some sun and a likelihood of thunderstorms. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Now, July is going to be a hot month weather-wise, y'all. But the deals on portable buildings at Bestway Portable Buildings will cool things down. Stop by and see owner Jason Mulder and let him help you choose just the right building for your needs. Bestway Portable Buildings is located just north of the Old Mall, Highway 231, Panama City, and online at bestwayportablebuildings.com. Bestway Portable Buildings, the best in portable, period. And a Golden Age builder.
Hi folks, I'm Tracy at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. Santa called and he asked me to help everyone get ready for Christmas and avoid the stress and rush. So we've stocked the store and slashed the prices. All sterling silver jewelry is 25% off. All silver chains, pendants, earrings, bracelets, and rings. Also, our entire stock of Boulevard watches, 20% off. And we are offering free 6 months layaway. Tracy's Fine Jewelry takes the stress out of the holidays. So shop now where Santa shops during our Christmas and July sale at Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
Now back to the Inside Drive, live and local from the Gulf Plus studios. We're betting the limit and covering the spread. The Inside Drive with Ryan and Jay.
Thank you. Nice to be in Vegas.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
You are tuned in to the Inside Drive, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, live from the Gulf Plus studios. You can call the show or text the show, 850-215-6290. We are streaming on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and download the app. Take us with you anywhere you go. ESPN Northwest Florida is your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast. The Braves return to the airwaves this Friday to take on the New York Yankees live from Truist Park. First pitch, 6:15. Atlanta Braves baseball on ESPN Northwest Florida is sponsored locally by Bill Bird Kia, PCB Hobby, Panama City Toyota, Hewitt Tire and Auto, and Hometown Towing. Now, we are going to discuss the ESPYs, but I just had a few more little thoughts on the All-Star game with the viewership being down 3.5%. So 7.1 million viewers was the average. The high for the game came in, of course, at the ninth inning when it was getting back into an exciting part again at 8.1 million. Now, yes, viewership down 3.5% for Fox, but if you look at it, it is the second most watched program on Fox this year. The only other program that got more eyeballs, the Super Bowl. So, still, was it down? Yeah, but you got to realize, still a heavily watched program out there last night. So the ESPYs last night, so we saw who, we talked yesterday, we made our picks, now we know who the winners just so happened to be for the ESPYs. So the best tennis player went to Coco Gauff. Not surprised by that one at all. We kind of even picked Coco Gauff here yesterday as to be the champion. Just, she's 19, 20, something like that, and lighting the world on fire. Congratulations to her. The best golfer, Scottie Scheffler. I don't think anybody is surprised by that. He has had an on-fire year the past year. Best soccer player, Christian Pulisic from AC Milan and the U.S. men's national soccer team. I said that one would probably be the winner, simply because, well, it's an American award show on an American television station. So I'm pretty sure they're going to give it to the American. And guess what? They did. The best driver went to Max Verstappen of the F1 series. Not surprised by that. Dude has been just winning a lot of the races. It's either that or Hamilton, and Hamilton was not on the list of best drivers, so I felt that a little bit snubbish, but you know, they only have 4 guys on the list, and they don't want it for everybody to be F1, and they already had 2 F1 guys, so understand why that one went that way. Best Major League Baseball player, Shohei Ohtani. Anybody surprised by that?
No.
Absolutely not. Best NFL player went to Saquon Barkley. Not surprised. Kind of figured he would get it just because of how dominant he was last year, and also getting on the cover of Madden, and that jump, that reverse hurdle, thing of beauty, man.
Oh, yeah.
Thing of beauty. Best athlete with a disability, Noah Elliott, a Paralympic snowboarder. Best college athlete, women's category, Juju Watkins, USC women's basketball. Best male college athlete, Cooper Flagg from Duke. How about best WNBA player, Caitlin Clark? Not surprised by that one at all. Best NBA player, Shea Alexander, Oklahoma Thunder. I mean, if you get the MVP in your league, you probably should get the ESPY as well. That one just kind of flows together, makes sense to me. But hey, the ESPY people can vote the way that they want. Best team went to the Philadelphia Eagles, the Super Bowl champions. Okay. That's fine. I like that one. Not awful.
Shane Gillis made a joke about it, a long-running joke, and it was all about the Eagles because he's the Eagles fan, and he was comparing each team against the Eagles, and it was always like very lopsided, you know.
Yeah. Right now it kind of is. They're the team that I am watching for next season.
Who, the Eagles?
Yeah, the Eagles.
I'm watching the Ravens, and I was saying that the Ravens are going to win the last Super Bowl, and guess what didn't happen?
I think if you keep on saying it, you might get it to come true, though. That's one that I do think.
I'm believing myself this time. Because last year it was, you had Derrick Henry went to the Ravens. So you're like, oh, they got the most powerful running back in the league, just changed teams to a really good Ravens team. They were 3rd best in the AFC, and then you add a guy like Derrick Henry, and then it ended up being Saquon Barkley that made the biggest difference in changing teams.
Yeah.
And winning the whole thing.
And winning the shebang.
So I was wrong. And, most of the time I am wrong when I pick Super Bowl winners ahead of the season,
So I need to not ask you for futures picks is what you're saying.
On Super Bowl, yeah, I would. Yeah, well, actually, yeah. What sport can I do? I can do college. I can usually do college pretty well.
All right. We'll do that one.
But no, not the pros. I mean, and I'm not saying I'm not making any excuses. 30 teams, 32 teams, or whatever. But I mean, to do it a whole season ahead, and I'm not even blaming on injuries. It just things happen.
It's and you play the games. That's how you get the answers.
Yeah, and then there's some that are the most shocking. Like what was it? The 99 Rams was one of the most shocking ones I ever saw.
Yeah, with the Kurt Warner, the greatest show on turf appearing.
I did not see that coming. That was one of the ones that was like a jaw dropper. Yeah.
Best record-breaking performance went to Alexander Ovechkin for breaking Wayne Gretzky's goal record.
Huge.
Not shocked on that one.
That's huge.
Best athlete men's category, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander of the Oklahoma City Thunder. All right. I like that one. Arthur Ashe Award for Courage went to Oscar Robertson. Very deserving guy right there. I absolutely agree with that one. Best comeback athlete went to Suni Lee, the U.S. gymnast. The Gatorade Players of the Year, Jane Hedren and Cameron Bozer. I don't know who any of those people are.
Googling it right now.
I have to go to the Google machine for that one. The Pat Tillman Award for Service goes to the Los Angeles County firefighters, Dave Walters and Aaron Riggin. If y'all remember those huge fires that they had last
Palisades.
year. Yeah, those were 2 guys that were absolutely out there just killing them fires. Best athlete in the women's category went to Simone Biles, the USA Gymnastics. The Jimmy V Award went to Katie Schumer Colley. Not sure who she is. Okay. The Capital One Cup winners went to the UNC women and Ohio State men's teams. So congratulations to them for being the best college athletic programs for the women and men.
So UNC is women's soccer?
So what they do for that is it just basically looks at, you know, your schools, your men's team for Ohio State. They just take all of the programs and look how great they were.
So it's Commissioner's Cup, but ESPN style.
Yeah, kind of like that. So, yeah, UNC women's, the soccer team had no losses on the season, and the lacrosse team had no losses on the season.
Oh, okay.
So I'm pretty sure that's what pushed the UNC over the line there for the the Capital One Cup winner.
Now, I'm not going to, I don't want to do a shout out because I'm not really partial to them, but the Tennessee Volunteers, they were killing it in so many different sports for the second year in a row. I mean, but the problem is that the joke that always gets thrown at them is that you can finish top 10 in 7 different sports, but guess what? No national titles.
Yeah, you got no rings, baby.
No rings.
Gotta
That's
get
the
them
problem
rings.
with the Ohio State thing is that, you know, you win one sport, the most dominant sport, and apparently you're getting that award, and that's probably not the best. If you looked at the whole everything for Ohio State, you'd be like, nah, dude. You know,
I mean, if you remember, I do believe it was the team that finished second in the SEC always went to the Citrus Bowl, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
And so what did Steve Spurrier always say?
Oh.
You can't spell citrus without UT.
Yeah.
That's one that has just always stuck in my crawl, but I was always like, yeah, you're right, though.
Yeah, Peyton Manning never beat the Gators.
Peyton Manning never beat the Gators. Nope.
Yeah. 3 years.
That was one that people do forget, and he was not a 4-year starter either. He came in his freshman year, but he was not the starter at the beginning of the year.
Somebody got hurt, and then somebody got pulled, I think.
Yeah, and then he just came in, and it was his after that.
Oh, he was sick.
Yeah, he was like, nope, mine.
Yeah.
Best breakthrough athlete, Ilona Marr, USA Rugby. Don't really keep up with rugby, do like rugby. Best play of the year, the Saquon Barkley backwards hurdle. Not shocked at all by that one. Yeah, I understand why he got that victory. And the best championship performance went to Simone Biles with the Olympic gymnastics all-around gold medal.
Okay.
So, I mean, she did. She looked a lot better in that Olympics than she did in the one before at Tokyo. Yeah. And she also got the gold medal there, and she looked pretty strong on that one. So, don't hate it.
So, my only takeaway from all those awards and everything was that a lot of these people who get these awards are on the team that wins the whole thing. Yep. And, you know, that's been kind of like a complaint on the Heisman at times, you know. It's like, you know, was it Eric Crouch from Nebraska one time? Yeah, it's like, you look at his stats, you're like, oh, my God, that's horrible. But they won everything that year, so he gets the award,
yeah,
right?
And he was a quarterback. Right?
Yeah, he was a quarterback.
That got drafted in the NFL in like the 5th or 6th round as a wide receiver.
Yeah, as a wide receiver. But a lot of these this year, the team that wins it all, it's the best player on that team, except for the fact that Indiana Fever, right?
Yep, Indiana Fever
did not win the champion. And neither did USC women's basketball, Juju Watkins.
Yeah, Juju went out kind of early in the tournament.
I think that they lost in the final 8, I want to say.
And
no, maybe it was final 4. I don't know.
They were final. Yeah, they were final 4. But Juju went out. I do believe. I think it was either the championship game for the Big Ten, or it was like the first round when she had her knee injury.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean that's the exception to the rule.
And Cooper Flagg won the college athlete men's, and he didn't even play in most of the tournament, right? He was
no, he played. Okay, played most of it, but he played a little injured for like 2 games, basically.
Okay, yeah, because I do remember him being injured through that.
Florida beat Auburn in this Final 4. Duke did make the final then.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. They made the final. They just got killed by Florida.
Yeah, that Florida team was just on fire at the right time.
I got to show you the story about Joaquin Noah, because you know he's one of the most famous guys ever played Florida basketball. Right?
Yeah,
about his recruiting trip. I gotta share that with you.
To Gainesville.
Yeah, to Gainesville. It's freaking hilarious.
I bet they had some good times with that back in the day. I wonder if it was less strict back then. I bet it was actually probably more strict, but probably a little bit more fun, because I think coaches could have been a little more open with you without having to deal with NILs and things like that.
Oh, yeah. But it wasn't about money. It was just about, what he saw.
Yeah.
And, LSU has great stories about that, about people, not really the players getting drunk, but them going on a recruiting trip and seeing people party, and they're like, oh, this is what I'm going to, So, LSU will show you what happens on a regular there. And it's attractive to some and it's not attractive to others.
So I remember, speaking of recruiting, and this is just a weird recruiting story that I saw when I was living in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Mm-hmm. And it was for the women's volleyball team at Western Kentucky University. Mm-hmm. They were recruiting a local girl that went to one of the local high schools to, go to the school. Now, they could not do an in-person interview at that point. But the girl just lived in town. So what they did was the coach met her up at a Starbucks. And instead of talking to each other, they sat across from each other and got out their cell phones. And they had a conversation because they could have a conversation on the phone, but not in person. Even though they're sitting across from each other, they are still technically on the phone.
Wow.
That was all those kinds of weird recruiting rules that you saw people going around. And it's one of those that after I looked into it, it was a fairly common practice back in the day that, you could not have a in-person interview with them, but you could have a phone interview with them, even though you were in person on the phone with them.
I just don't even understand some of these rules,
They're just out there to be rules.
I love the story where Bo Jackson talks about Bear Bryant coming to his house. In Bessemer, Alabama. And Bessemer's kind of like wrong side of the track type town, outside of Birmingham. And he said that Bear Bryant came into his house and sat in a chair. And then so after Bear Bryant left, people from the community and all, I would come over to his house and say, yeah, Bear Bryant sat in that chair, and everything. And people were like, oh, wow, like he was Jesus,
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd put that chair in a glass, I'd put it in a glass casing and I'd have the perfect humidity and everything set to it so it could last forever, in a perfect museum condition. Because somebody at some point will be like, I want to buy that Bear Bryant chair. Oh, that one. All right, guys, what do we got coming up next? We got our afternoon delights because at noon we will have our good friend Keith Fleming. You are tuned in to the Inside Drive from the Golf Plus Studios, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Mornings on ESPN Northwest Florida just got unsportsmanlike.
Jalen Hurts may be the most disrespected quarterback we have ever seen. He has championed the most unstoppable play in the history of the sport in the tush push. He's been to the Super Bowl twice, and he beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And you're going to tell me that this guy is the 9th-ranked quarterback in the NFL? Are you out of your mind?
Evan Canty and Michelle. Weekdays 5 to 7 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards and Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
Your biggest investment is your home. Protect it while also improving its appearance with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. We have sand, mulch, gravel, or lay down decorative stone, all available for pickup and delivery. Discover your dream landscape with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Imagine the moment you proudly pull up to your home that you've worked so hard for, enhanced by quality mulch, decorative stones, and more. Let's make it happen today. Request a quote online at earthworkspc.com or swing by the office at 2005 Industrial Drive. Love the land you live on.
Broadcasting from the Golf Plus Studios, it's the Inside Drive. And now, the afternoon delight debrief with the three degenerates from the Inside Drive.
Afternoon delight.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Afternoon delight. Afternoon delight.
This is the Inside Drive, coming to you live from the Golf Plus studios right here in beautiful Panama City Beach. 104.3 is the radio dial. ESPN Northwest Florida is the station. You can call the show. You can text the show 850-215-6290. We are streaming on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Download our app. Take us with you everywhere you go, and we might get a little bit of rain out there, and you can rely on ESPN Northwest Florida for the most accurate weather forecast and active weather updates from Joanna. So be right here, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida for up-to-the-minute breaking weather coverage. All of this brought to you by Mid-South Lumber, Ellis Agency Insurance, and Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Moving the afternoon delight up just a little bit today so we can have our good friend Keith Fleming on here at noon. So let us get our delights started. And here is a sports-related afternoon delight. Here we go. Memphis, Tennessee. The University of Memphis Athletic Department has been put on probation for 2 years and fined $30,000 by the NCAA after an investigation found an academic counselor paid 2 softball players to help a men's basketball player with schoolwork. The NCAA announced that the mutually agreed upon punishment Wednesday, saying in a report former Memphis academic counselor Leslie Brooks paid 2 unidentified softball players a total of $550 to provide test answers and complete assignments for an unidentified basketball player during a period from January 25 to February 18, 2024. In addition to the fine, Memphis was docked 1% of the combined budget of the men's basketball and softball programs for violating 7 NCAA bylaws. The NCAA said that 3 players involved competed in 20 games while ineligible, and the probationary period begins immediately and runs through July 15, 2027. We are pleased to have reached a mutual agreed upon resolution by the NCAA Committee on Infractions and the University of Memphis, University President Bill Hardgrave said in a statement. I would like to thank our staff who worked swiftly and collaboratively with the NCAA to take appropriate action. I just could not get that one out, guys. My bad. And implemented corrective measures. The University of Memphis is committed to a culture of compliance with the NCAA rules and will move our program forward accordingly. A Memphis athletics spokesperson said the school would not release the names of the players involved. All right, I understand protecting the players there. There's no real reason to out them. Okay, but man, come on. You can get that a little bit better under control, Memphis. Okay. You really can.
The one word in there that was erroneous was help.
Yeah.
They helped them. No, they didn't. They just supplied everything.
Well, I mean, helping is kind of supplying, isn't it? Just feeding you all the answers and writing your report for you. That's technically helping.
Yeah, help. Ugh. And then they spent $550.
$550.
And then they're getting fined $30,000.
Yep. Was it worth the investment? I don't know.
So you know who's the coach there?
Who's coaching now?
Hardaway.
Ooh,
Anthony Hardaway is the coach. Yeah. And we're talking about a program that's been up there with like Louisville and Houston on that type of level. You know, not always like one of the big conference teams, but now Memphis is getting left behind in the American Athletic Conference.
Yep.
Louisville's over in the ACC, which is a great basketball conference. Houston's been doing really well in the Big 12. They won it, I don't know, twice.
Something like that. They did this year at least.
Years?
I'm going to say they have.
So, yeah, I mean, Memphis is getting left behind. And people, when he took that head coaching job, people were kind of like, do you know what you're doing? And we know you played there, 33 years ago, but do you really know what you're getting into? Yeah, Memphis doesn't have the support like these other schools do, I don't think. I think that's the reason why they're getting left behind. But also might be enrollment and how many people go to the games and all that kind of stuff, too. Might be a whole lot of different reasons.
A whole lot of things coming out there. And just the changes in all of college football, college basketball, college, every sport landscape, just how those changes have come about just even quickly.
Now, when I read that headline before I came here today, my mind automatically went to football because that's, how my mind works. And then I started reading and I was like, oh, that's basketball. And I was like, okay, well, that's going to save them a little bit because, let's be honest, their basketball program doesn't make any money. They're in the negative, It's the
most of those are, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The number is actually going up. It used to be, I think the number was 1 or 2 basketball programs in the nation make money. And then now the number is
big boys.
Now, it's only the big boys. And now I don't know if the number's like 7 or 9. It's actually going up. That there's actually more programs now making money for the university as opposed to in the past.
Yeah, I'd say I'm sure Kentucky, probably Louisville are two programs that probably bring in good money because they're also playing in big boy arenas. They're having arenas like 15, 16,000 people and they sell it out.
And merchandise. Duke and Kentucky and UNC. I would think that those three has got to be in the top 5.
Money in the merchandising, people. Trust me, there is money in the merchandising.
You have all pro jerseys, or do you have any college? No college, huh?
I don't got a whole lot of college. I do have a Polk County High School.
Where is
football
that?
Jersey.
Is that in Kentucky?
No, that's in Chicago, and it says Bundy on the back.
Oh yes.
That's my high school one.
Oh, that is awesome.
That's a good one there. I have a couple of minor league and a couple of college hockey jerseys, but that's about it.
What's the minor league ones?
The minor league hockey jerseys, I have a Hershey Bear jersey.
Oh, wow.
My college hockey jersey is I have a jersey from the U.S. Military Academy at Army.
Oh, wow. So when you first started saying Hershey Bears, my mind went to the Bad News Bears, but that's not the Bad News Bears.
Close. They were having a season that was not great when I got that jersey.
Because they do have a they do sell Bad News Bears yellow jerseys out there.
Oh, absolutely.
And I can't remember what the funny one. There's one of them that has a funny name on the back.
I'd have to go Google it. It's been a hot minute since I've watched it. And I didn't even watch the remake with Billy Bob Thornton.
I haven't seen the remake.
I'm familiar with the Walter Matthau one.
It's got to be dirty though with Billy Bob Thornton.
It's got to be. He's the only one that I can see going out there and being kind of a crass old man like Walter Matthau.
Yeah. Good pick for a role.
All right, the Steve Miller Band. We all remember the Steve Miller Band. Well, they have updated us on their 2025 tour schedule. Dear Steve Miller Band fans, you make music with your instincts. You live your life by your instincts. Always trust your instincts. The Steve Miller Band has canceled all of our upcoming tour dates. Boo! The combination of extreme heat, unpredictable flooding, tornadoes, hurricanes, and massive forest fires makes these risks for our audience, the band, and the crew find it unacceptable. So, you can blame it on the weather. The tour is canceled. Don't know where, don't know when. We hope to see you all again. Wishing you all peace, love, and happiness. Please take care of each other, Steve, the band, and the crew. So we're canceling concerts for rain months in advance before we even have any kind of knowledge of what the weather might even be on that day.
Do you know what the last number one hit from Steve Miller Band is?
Oh,
you're not gonna guess it because
like Fly Like an Eagle.
No, it's later. It's in the mid 80s.
It's going to be later than that.
There was just a story about that.
Yeah, Abracadabra.
That's it.
Abracadabra. I'm gonna reach out.
It was almost like his disco version song.
Yeah. It was very, very different from their rockish 70s.
Yeah, very different kind of sound that they had there. They had a little bit of a turnover in the band. Steve was still there. I remember.
Yep.
But yeah,
you're right. The sound was synthesized more.
Yeah, it was a turnover. Yeah, because it was. Oh God, I used to love spinning the Steve Miller Band at night. That was such a great. Never got to see them in concert. Living near Nashville, I got to go to a bunch of concerts, but that was one that I never got to.
Yep, Steve Miller Band. Definitely one of those ones that should be remembered, but some people don't know about it. And like my kids probably don't know who Steve Miller Band. Probably knew one song from them in the 70s. And
yeah, you'll probably get Fly Like an Eagle out of most of the people. That's what a lot of people really remember on that one. It's
sad that some of these bands get forgotten,
I mean, they are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, man. They're there.
Yeah.
Now, does anybody really remember the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? That's another question.
Yeah, there's some people that are getting in there. They're like, what in the world? And I'm not talking about Dolly Parton. I'm talking about other ones that are like rap artists and everything.
I'm not even huge on Dolly being there because I don't really consider her rock and roll.
So have you been to Cleveland?
Yes, I have. I've been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I was playing hockey in Cleveland. We had a day off, and we got tickets to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And when I walk in, one of the nice things about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is bands can sometimes just like randomly show up and start playing there.
Oh, wow.
And when we walked in, it was like, I don't know, 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday, and it's the B-52s.
Whoa, check it out.
So that was pretty cool. Just like walking on in, and I hear Rock Lobster, and I just, and it's live, and I'm like, oh, they're just playing some music. And then you keep walking in, and on the front stage when you walk in, B-52s just jamming away. You can sit there and watch, or you can walk on into the rest of the museum. That was also the same day that I got to meet Don King.
Don King. Wow.
If everybody remembers the Don King. Oh yeah, and when I met him, he was at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, had the big cape on, had the huge hair going, rings on every fingers. I mean, it was the full Don King experience.
Yeah, I think Plank Park, or what, I don't know, the amusement park. It's in Sandusky. There's another big attraction up in that area. Plank something. Cedar Plank.
No, not Kings Island.
Cedar something.
Yeah, Cedar Park. Kings Island is down by Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's Cedar something.
That's where I was coming up with that one.
Biggest roller coaster in the world, I think, still, maybe.
Is that in Sandusky, Ohio?
Yeah. Sandusky, yeah.
Key West, Florida. A woman stopped at an intersection to allow a chicken to cross the road. She allegedly attacked another driver with bear mace for speeding by her and running over the bird. According to an arrest report obtained by Law and Crime, 38-year-old Cynthia Sosa stopped at an intersection on July 9th to let a chicken cross the road, when another driver began honking at her and later passed her, running over the chicken. Sosa reportedly pursued the driver out of frustration about the chicken's death. Upon catching the other driver, Sosa allegedly blocked the road in front of the victim's vehicle, got out of her car, and attempted to open the door. They began fighting over the door, the report allegedly says. Cynthia wanted to teach her a lesson, so she pulled out her bear mace and sprayed into the vehicle, spraying the victim directly in the face while she was sitting in her seat.
Ooh.
Sosa reportedly fled the scene but was eventually pulled over by police and taken into custody. She was charged with 2 counts of aggravated battery and 1 count of burglary with assault or battery.
I don't know if you've ever been around bear mace, but oh my God, that's some potent
It'd
stuff.
knock you down.
So my question was, what's the difference between bear mace and human mace?
It's
the
stickier.
potency.
So yeah, bring a bear down.
It's a little bit, and they also put like a little bit of this sticky stuff in it, so it sticks to the fur. So that way the bear's kind of like rubbing his eyes, so you got a chance to run off.
Yeah.
It's strong. It's worse than the mace that like cops carry and stuff.
Yeah, and it's like when you hit the button, it goes. It's got to, like the ones the cops hit you with, they got like a 2 or 3 foot spray. The one that you got for bears can go about like 20 feet.
Oh my goodness.
I've had bear spray in the past. I do have bear spray at my property because where I am, we have bears. We have bears that wander around my property quite often, and I don't want to hurt them.
I thought you were fending off the women.
No, I don't have to do that. I got the mug that does that for me. I ain't got to go buy no accessories for that. It's cheap and easy. But I do
can't control these women and need bear mace.
Hey, guys, leave me alone. I'm sorry.
But you know, I've seen videos of when they spray it towards the bear. The bears get a whiff of it and they are gone.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, yeah. It is. You can smell it, and bears have a very, very keen sense of smell, like a dog. They can smell things miles away, similar to what a dog can.
Last time I saw a bear, well, no, I did see a bear here. I saw a bear here. Yeah. Over in 30A on 38.
Wasn't there a song called that? I saw a bear here.
I saw a bear here, maybe.
I saw a bear here.
But the time before that, I was in, not Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg. Yeah. And we were up on like the back road, and it kind of goes up higher. And I was behind a car, and the car in front of me stops, and I stop. And then I'm like wondering what's going on, and then oncoming traffic like stopped, and then the person behind me starts laying on the horn, like, I got to go somewhere, you're in my way, whatever. And then I saw it. The bear was right on the edge of the road, and then it turned and just disappeared into the woods.
Oh yeah, they're gone.
Oh, it was just like
those little black bears.
No, he wasn't going fast. He just vanished, like just right into the green.
Oh yeah, those black bears. Like once they step into the woods, they're hard to see. They're not that big, and they are just a dark black.
Codes Cave is where you go in Gatlinburg if you want to see a ton of wildlife.
Yeah,
including bears.
Yeah, They do have I want to say not in a cage, but like a big, outdoor, containment area.
Almost like a zoo type place.
Yeah, and what it is, you take a gondola thing up the hill.
Oh yeah.
And then you look down at the bears.
And then it's like an Oktoberfest theme thing.
Yeah.
All right, guys, coming up next, great friend of the show, Keith Fleming, will discuss some golf and some fantasy football with him. You are tuned in to the Inside Drive, coming to you live from the Golf Plus Studios, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida, the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Brewster, let me ask you a question. If someone offered you $8 million to become a Clemson fan, would you do it?
No. Only thing I'll do with orange is put a lighter to it.
I just wanted to double check. By the way, I knew that would be your answer.
Paul Feinbaum, weeknights, 6 to 10 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Thursday's weather. The remainder of the day, there will be a moderate breeze out of the south, some sun and definite thunderstorms, and 85. Partly cloudy skies tonight, about the same at 81. Tomorrow, variety of some sun and a chance of thunderstorms and a high of 86. About the same at 88 Saturday, and we'll have mostly sunshine and a possibility of thunderstorms. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Take your next adventure in an award-winning Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Discover the new Kia. We invite you to stop by Bill Bird Kia and test drive the new 2025 Kia. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. The 2025 Kia SUV family has movement that inspires. Drive away today in a new 2025 Kia Soul, Seltos, Sportage, Sorento, or Telluride. Fuel the thrill and command the road in the luxury of a 2025 Kia K5 sedan from Bill Bird Kia. Performance, power, and design built for you. Spark inspiration in the all-electric 2025 EV9. It's a modern masterpiece, fast charging, rugged, and roomy. Bill Bird Kia is the original home for the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by 2435 East 15th Street, Panama City, or anytime at BillBirdKia.PanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust. Your local community dealer is Bill Bird Kia.
WGSX Lynnhaven WVLQ Port St. John. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the Inside Drive. Live and local from the Gulf Plus Studios. The locals love it.
You're gonna love this. You are my favorite. It's my favorite.
Everybody's favorite. The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Live on ESPN Northwest Florida.
You are tuned in to the Inside Drive 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, live from the Gulf Plus studios here in beautiful Panama City Beach. You can call the show. You can text the show 850-215-6290. We are streaming on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to keep up with what we are doing right here at ESPN Northwest Florida. You can download the app and also visit the website espnpc.com. James Fife in here today, taking care of the old microphone for Ryan Mulvey. Got LSU Jeff with me and Randy Williams on the board.
Cedar Point is the name of the amusement park with the biggest roller coaster.
Yep. Yeah.
That's it.
And that's the one in Sandusky.
Yeah, it's up in Upper Sandusky, Ohio.
What do you call it? One of our listeners texted me that.
Well, thank you, listener. Hey, see? Yeah, you guys are teaching us something, and we appreciate you guys tuning in and listening and reaching out to us to inform us of what we don't know, because I know a lot, but I don't know it all. On the phone lines with us right now, we have great friend of the show, Keith Fleming. How are you doing today, Mr. Fleming?
I am doing much better today. It's 2025, so we're 5 years into COVID, and I just assumed before Sunday that I had either caught COVID and, it didn't really hit me that bad, or I've just been lucky and, for whatever reason I don't catch it. My wife actually went to Florida for business, came back, tested positive for COVID on Saturday. I got it on Sunday, and man, like Monday through Wednesday was rough, but feeling much better. Thank goodness for steroids and other goodies, but definitely learned a lesson. It was kind of like when I got food poisoning that first time. You may think you've had food poisoning or COVID, but you'll know when you get it.
So was this your first bout with the COVID?
Yeah, both me and my wife did.
Okay, yeah. So you made it a good long time, man. Congratulations. Yeah, I made it up until about last year. Last year was the first time I actually got COVID. So I thought I did pretty well myself, too, staying away from it.
Horrible headache and just was, exhausted. I mean, I literally slept for almost 2.5 days.
That's what happened to me. I didn't feel really bad, but I slept for a day and a half. But I still was able to taste stuff and all that, so... But, I mean, it was one of those, I stuck that thing up my nose, and it came back, with the 2 red lines to tell me that I had COVID. Yeah. So I was just, okay, I got COVID.
And this is still going on, because I have a friend that back in Louisiana got it in June, and another one that got it in May.
Yeah, it's just different variants running around now.
I'm blaming Fort Lauderdale. That's where my wife went for her work meeting, and the fact that, of course, she had a ordeal with the plane, which I always think about that. You're just sitting in there breathing, everybody's nasty, where they got stuck on the runway for 3 hours. Oh. You're basically sitting in a germ box at that point, Oh, it freaks me out, man.
That and you're not moving, so the plane's air condition isn't going really great, so you can't get up, you gotta sit there, it's hot. I mean, that's one of those. If it's going to be
like that too, it's like an hour flight. So you know what I mean? It's like you're expecting an hour and an out, and instead it took her 4 hours with 3 hours sitting, basically on the runway.
That's one of those airports. The FAA, whoever needs to figure out if you're going to be delayed over 45 minutes or something, a way to get the people off of the airplane and get them back into the airport, so at least you can have some creature comforts. I know I'm asking a lot here, but they got to figure this out.
You want to run for office? Because you just got my vote.
Sure. I put me in as a write-in anytime you like. I'm always running for every single office all across the country. I am free to be written in. Remember that, everybody. Always running for office. All right, Keith. Let's talk a little bit of golf here, but let's bring up some golf news before we get into some DFS. So the Oakmont Country Club has banned Wyndham Clark from its property after he destroyed that locker room last month during the U.S. Open. Did you get to hear about that?
Oh, yeah. And, this is the second time this year that he's had a situation like this. And, look, I get it. Golf is maybe the most frustrating sport in the world. I think it gets actually more frustrating the better you get at golf, because no matter how good you are, if you're not like Tiger Woods or Jack Nicklaus, you're going to have way more bad days than you are good or great. But I feel like once you're 25 years or older, if you're still throwing hissy fits and throwing clubs and stuff, it's like, grow up, man. Like, I understand the heat of the moment, but like, this is my one issue with a lot of guys in professional golf, because they're just full of brats. They get to do like the greatest job in the world. We spend all of our money, free time, resources and stuff trying to get out there as much as possible. This guy's at one of the nicest golf courses in the country for a major championship. And again, I get it. He didn't play well, but to like destroy your locker, it's just like, come on, man, grow up, Wyndham Clark.
What's weird about that is that I think of tennis as being very frustrating. And you're playing against someone, so I don't want to say you want to try and blame your opponent, but golf, you don't have somebody to blame other than the wind, right?
Well, yourself. That's it.
And
like
yourself.
That's the problem. Is you can't blame anybody. That's what drew me to golf in high school. Honestly, I was super competitive and not always the greatest teammate, like in basketball and baseball and stuff growing up. And I loved, being able to know it's all on me. However, the downside of that is, again, your worst enemy on the golf course is that space in between your ears. Because so much of it, I really believe, is your attitude, the way you respond to things, being able to focus on the task at hand and not be thinking about a million different other things. And it's like what you're saying. In any other sport, somebody's trying to defend a shot, right? Like, you have to be, and so much of it is reactionary, to where golf, you sit there, you think about it, and you can take as much time as you want. But yet I still think it's the hardest sport in the world. If you think about just saying, okay, we're going to take this little white golf ball and par for this hole, for a 460-yard par 4, is you should get this little white ball in this little hole 460 yards away. It's pretty remarkable that people are as good at golf as they are. People... I hear, all the time, like, I suck, I shoot in the 90s or whatever. I'm like, that's really good. It's an extremely difficult sport. So, and you always will get better. It's never too late to start. It's the best. But come on, Wyndham, man. Let's be a little bigger than that.
Some people have a temper, and y'all don't know this about me, but I was a professional dart player.
Oh,
and I
wow.
I played in dart tournaments, and I won money. And I played people who were ranked worldwide and beat them and everything. And those days are long gone now. But there were people with tempers at darts, and, you have a pointy steel object in your hand.
And they know how to throw it.
And we know how to throw it and everything. And it's you against the ball, it's you against the dart board, and you're 7'9" and 3/4 inches away from the dart board. And seeing somebody lose their temper for losing a game, but you're playing against somebody, you're comparing yourself up against somebody, and it's hard. People are hard on themselves, and competitive, especially when you're young, because that's the ones who had the temper were the young ones. Now, the difference between golf, I don't know how many people get drunk on the golf course when they're professionals like that, but in darts, it's a drinking man's sport.
Other than John Daly, I don't think anybody
exactly
on the professional circuit does, but now on the amateur circuit, or as we like to call my foursome, most weekends. I know if my father's playing, there's one person that's definitely going to pound a few Chuck Weisers, and I got some buddies that you don't even have any room anywhere in the cart when you ride with them by the end of the round, because there's just empty beer cans and beer bottles everywhere.
You are tuned in to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, the Inside Drive, coming to you live from the Golf Plus studios. Great friend of the show, Keith Fleming, on with us right now, and we are discussing some golf. So I think the big thing for me in this with Wyndham Clark, if you look at this, it looks like the Oakmont hosts the Open about every 8 to 9 years. So, that means he doesn't get to come back and earn a paycheck if it's at that course. That's right, isn't it?
Well, we'll see. Because it's so far down the line, it may be an issue where they don't have to worry about it, right? But I do find it hard to believe if he qualifies, say, for the U.S. Open, because I don't think they've announced yet when the next U.S. Open is at Oakmont. You're right, though. It's usually about every 8 to 10 years. I would imagine if he, qualifies into it, they would probably end up dropping the ban for the tournament. But I think that they know there's a good chance with golf. I mean, if you're still relative 10 years later, Wyndham Clark, I think, is like in his early 30s, it may be something they're not going to have to worry about anyway.
Nature will take care of it for him, yeah, maybe. Get a little bit too old, can't swing it no more. So give us a preview of the Open that is taking place at the Royal Portrush Golf Club course over there in Northern Ireland.
Yeah, I love this tournament. I get a little sad because since they've changed the schedule now, the Open actually ends the major season. Used to it was the PGA Championship. Obviously, we still have the FedEx Cup coming up. You have the Ryder Cup, which is going to be in New York. It's going to be nuts here in a couple of months. But, this is the home of golf, like especially this week where they're actually, on Scottish soil where, this is a course where the game was invented. I mean, they were playing golf over there, 500 years ago, which is just nuts. But though, just, again, love this tournament. It's such different golf. I love the fact that you can wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning if you're a psycho like me and basically watch golf all day. Literally, guys are teeing off this morning at 2 a.m., and you still have players with 10 holes left. So there's going to be probably another 2-3 hours of coverage. So you get basically 13 hours the first 2 days and probably about 10 the last 2. This is, again, the last major of the year. We've had 2 winners that weren't really that shocking. And then, obviously, J.J. Spaun won the U.S. Open. A little bit surprising, to say the least. I said, going into this, I think Scottie Scheffler is going to win this major, and it's just because he's that good. And he's kind of at the peak of his powers. I think it's only a matter of time before he wins 2 majors in one season. It's the one thing he has not done yet in his career. He has now, got over the winning a major other than the Masters by winning the PGA Championship earlier this year. And he, again, today just kind of seemed like he was fiddle farting around most of his round, and he just seems to have a gear that no other guy on tour does. He birdies 2 of the last 3. He's 3 under. It looks like he might be a few more than 1 back, but I mean, for somebody like Scottie Scheffler, what he does is he just consistently hits good shots and shoots good scores. So when he gets off to a good start, it's really bad news for the rest of the field. But I mean, I was looking at DK's live odds, and there are some, I feel, really good bets. Matt Fitzpatrick, he's down now, unfortunately, all the way to 11-1, when at one point he was, I believe, 55-1 at the beginning of the week. He hits the ball really low, which is great, obviously, in the windy conditions. They're calling for a pretty nasty mixture of wind and rain the whole tournament. I mean, they look miserable. It's one reason I've never wanted to go over to that part of the world and play golf, as it's July and everybody's in pants and windbreakers and it's raining sideways. But I think he's in great position at 4 under. Harris English is also at 4 under. He's having one of his best seasons of his career. The Open is one of those majors that you get these first-time winners, kind of these shocking winners every once in a while. Robert McIntyre is trying to make a mess of his opening round right now, but he's still 1 under. He finished 4th here just last time they held the Open at Royal Portrush back in 2019. And he's somebody that has won the Scottish Open 2 years ago, finished runner-up the year before that. He's had a couple of really good Open Championship finishes. And then the other guy that I think is a pretty decent odds is Tyrrell Hatton and Jon Rahm at 12 and 16-1. Rahm got off to a good start, which has been so important for him in recent majors. And Tyrrell Hatton is 3 under through 10. There's a good chance by the end of this round, Tyrrell Hatton will be like 6-7-1 to win this tournament. He started at 25, so I mean, really still getting 16-1 with him being 3 unders through his first 8 holes. I think is a great value, and this is the one major that Hatton seems to always play well in. He played on the, what is now the DP World Tour, the European Tour forever before joining the PGA and eventually the LIV. And I actually think the worse the weather, that's good for somebody like Hatton, because it's going to become, I mean, you really got to ball strike it around this golf course. And it's really a cool setup. It's one of the few Open Championship venues that there's a lot of undulation and stuff on the green, slopes and stuff that you can use. You don't normally see that. That means the greens are really slow, which really frustrates certain players. But, I mean, it makes sense if they don't make the greens really slow. You get these 30, 40, 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Literally, the ball's going to be rolling all over the place and never stop. And we've seen like somebody like Bryson DeChambeau, who me and Ryan have talked about this on the 2 Off the Tee show. This is going to be the major he's going to have the hardest time winning, because I think he has a great chance to end up winning all 4 majors before it's said and done. But he hits the ball so high and doesn't really have any other gear yet in his game that he just always struggles on these link-style courses. He's through 11 today, and you know, it's just funny how some guys are really good, like Justin Rose always plays well, it seems like, in the Open Championship. And then there's other guys like Bryson DeChambeau who, you know, again, I don't think he's made the cut the last 2 years.
So with this being a little bit of a longer course, 7,337 yards for the length of the course, do you have any kind of different strategies for building your lineup?
I mean, honestly, for me, on a venue like this, the length is not a huge deal unless they get a lot of rain, because you're going to have so many holes, right, that play dead downwind, because you consistently get 15 to 25-mile-an-hour winds on these courses, because, you know, there's not a tree anywhere to be found. They're right up against the coast. So they usually play really firm and fast. You're seeing that, like, I think it was the 5th hole today. It was playing 325 yards, and guys were driving it with, like, fairway woods and long irons because it was dead downwind. But then, like, the first hole this morning was just a 440-yard par 4 playing dead into the wind, and you were seeing guys hit, like, driver and then, again, like a hybrid or a fairway wood into the green. So the real thing I look for, again, is just people that play link-style courses well. They're not obviously all the same, but it just seems like that players either do play these kind of courses really well or they struggle with them, because it can be frustrating. You can hit a really good drive that, say, takes a hot bounce, rolls an extra 10 yards, and you're in a pot bunker where you have to go sideways because, you know, the bunker's 6 feet high, and it's almost like hitting it in the hazard, because you really just have to punch out and, you know, play basically sideways. So a lot of people get frustrated like stuff like that. Other people embrace it. Tom Watson won 5 of these. Most of his majors were Open Championships. He loved this event. Jack also, I believe, won 5 of them. So, you know, certain guys are just made to play this kind of golf, and other people, again, they look miserable. But it's cold, it's rainy, there's wind blowing, and if you've never played a link-style course where there's no trees and you're right against the coast, I mean, if it's a cold wind, it is a really cold wind. Just think about, like, if you're at the beach and it's colder, you know, you go down to, say, the ocean or something.
All right, Keith. When we get back, more with Keith Fleming, and we will discuss fantasy football with Keith Fleming. This is the Inside Drive, coming to you live from the Golf Plus Studios, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Dan Patrick Show. You know, there's a lot of report cards that'll come in on Cooper Flagg. And sometimes I overreact to the Summer League, and probably will with Cooper Flagg. But he gave me intangibles. He gave me offense, defense, gave me passing, he gave me rebounding. But he also gave me court presence.
It's the Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings from 9 till 11. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Thursday's weather. The remainder of the day, there will be a moderate breeze out of the south, some sun and definite thunderstorms, and 85. Partly cloudy skies tonight, about the same at 81. Tomorrow, variety of some sun and a chance of thunderstorms and a high of 86. About the same at 88 Saturday, and we'll have mostly sunshine and a possibility of thunderstorms. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose, hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? If competitive pricing and a quick turnaround are what matter to your business, come see us at Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, or you can give us a call at 850-326-3000. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport, the best place in town to take a leak.
Krispy Kreme Donuts has unveiled a new donut collection with a heroic twist. In partnership with Warner Brothers Discovery, it's the Hungry for Heroes collection. Choose from Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, DC Comics' most iconic heroes. Available now at Krispy Kreme Donuts in front of HCA Hospital on 23rd Street in Panama City and on the Ross Clark Circle in Dothan. Krispy Kreme Donuts since 1937, where you get them hot.
Broadcasting from the Gulf Plus studios, it's the Inside Drive.
Are you ready?
Celebrating 2 years of broadcasting history.
I love it.
It's the Best of Bay awarded Inside Drive on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Weekdays 11 to 1 with Ryan Mulvey.
That kid was on roids.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
You are tuned in to the Inside Drive, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, coming to you live from the Golf Plus studios. Make sure to visit Alan Watson for all of your golfing needs at the shops at Edgewater. You can call the show. You can text the show, 850-215-6290. We are streaming on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Download our app. Take us with you everywhere you go. All-Star break coming to a close tomorrow, and ESPN Northwest Florida is your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast. Tomorrow is Friday, and the Braves will be taking on the New York Yankees live from Truist Park, 6 o'clock for pregame festivities.
Actually, no, tomorrow pregame's at 5, and then the first pitch is at 6:15.
First pitch still at 6:15. There we go. So pregame, 5 o'clock, 6:15 for the first pitch. Atlanta Braves baseball on ESPN Northwest Florida is sponsored locally by Bestway Portable Buildings, Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, Mid-South Lumber, and Brock Pest Control. James Fife here with LSU Jeff and Randy Williams, and on the phone line with us, Mr. Keith Fleming, and we'll be discussing some fantasy football. So if you've got any fantasy football questions for Keith, 850-215-6290, or you can text the show or get on the old Facebook and leave us a message, and we will ask Keith the questions that you got for fantasy football. All right. Do we still got Keith on the line? All right. Mr. Fleming, how we doing? Still doing well? Can you hear me, Keith? I think we might have lost Keith. We'll give him a call back. All right. So fantasy football coming up, guys. So we know that every year some guys got rollover leagues. Some guys got keeper leagues. I have never been personally involved in a keeper league. I have always done a just yearly leagues. I don't know why. I guess I don't have enough real world friends that I got enough people to go play year over year over year. But I always do enjoy getting out there and having my fantasy competitions every year. Jeff, you a fantasy footballer kind of guy?
I played 3 years, and I am against keep, hold, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I'm totally against that. I just think that you get different people interested in, and you want to get new people into it and get interested in it and everything. And you're going to lose some people. They're going to drop off like me, you know. Obviously, I only played 3 seasons, so it's been a little while since I've played fantasy football. And, yeah, I'm totally against the whole keeper thing.
Yeah, it's always just so much fun to me to have the draft every year. I like getting with my friends, doing the draft, and I feel like the keeper league, you lose some of that, you know, because it's, you do, because you've got your guys. You only get 1 or 2 drafts a year. You don't got to really get together and, you know, have that big camaraderie of, everybody around. I do believe we have Keith Fleming back on the line with us. Keith, do we have you?
We do.
All right, we have Keith Fleming back. So I was talking a little bit with LSU Jeff about some fantasy football, and fantasy football coming up pretty soon. Now, for the non-keeper leagues, Keith, when do you like to set up your draft? Do you like to do your draft now before preseason and everything gets started? Do you like to do it during the preseason? Or are you one of those guys that likes to do it a day or two before the regular season kicks off?
I mean, the fairest way to do it is to do it as close as humanly possible, towards the start of the season. I'm a big believer, though, that if at all possible, you should do them in person. Now, granted, you have to have somebody like me that is a little OCD about making sure, people are on clocks and, it doesn't turn into like a 5-6 hour ordeal, because that's how you end up doing them online. Yep. But I actually prefer to do them early, because I feel like I know a little bit more information than most people. So the sooner we have it, the more likely I can get the guys I want, to where we know this stuff happens. There's so many places that you can get good fantasy football analysis that I think you hear so much about everybody. There really isn't that many sleepers anymore, in my opinion. I just think there's guys that are good values with where they're going with their average draft position, and that's the way a lot of people draft. And it's not a terrible model. Like, if you don't spend a ton of time prepping or don't know a lot about a ton of teams and offenses, it's always good to go to either ESPN, Fantasy Pros, etc., and look at their basically ADP. And you can just kind of stay near it, and then obviously still pick guys that, if you really want somebody, and even if it's 10, 15, or even 20 picks ahead of what the average draft position, go for it. But they really are a good, kind of starting point for somebody, especially if you don't have a lot of time to research it and learn up on a lot of the guys.
So is this a year where I need to be looking at getting a quarterback early in this process, or is it a year where I can wait till round maybe 5, 6, 7?
So I rarely ever take a quarterback early. The one situation is if in the first couple of rounds, just everybody that I really like of the first 15, 20 guys are there, and say a Josh Allen or a Lamar Jackson, probably Jaden Daniels this year is right there. Jalen Hurts, with the tush-push going through. I don't mind grabbing them, but overall, my philosophy is to wait. Last year, I was telling people Jaden Daniels was the best value at quarterback, because you get him around the 7th, 8th round, and I always want quarterbacks now that run. I think that is essential for fantasy, because, whether you like it or not, quarterbacks get 3 times the points for rushing that they do for passing. And this year you can do it again. Like, if you look at where Drake May's average draft position is, Justin Fields, you can even go and get like Anthony Richardson and make sure you back them up with a Daniel Jones. That way you have both of them. Both guys run a lot. You can get those guys after that, like 6th, 7th round. And I think that Justin Fields has been a top 10 quarterback every year that he's been a starter. In terms of points per game, and yet he's still going off the board. It's like QB 17 right now. I don't get it. Like, to me, he should definitely be a top 10 QB, and it's the best kind of guy that's a top 10 QB, because you don't have to spend very much capital on him. You can get him later, and feel like you have a guy that's just, because he runs so much, his baseline is going to be so much higher. And I do like the weapons that the Jets have. Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall. I actually think the Jets are going to open it up more than we've seen Bills have it opened up in Chicago or say last year with the Steelers.
You are tuned in to the Inside Drive from the Golf Plus Studios, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Keith Fleming on the line with us right now.
You have Drake May as a top 10 quarterback?
Yeah. If you look at what he did last year, I think he scored at least 15 points in every game that he started. And they had a mess of a coaching staff. They had a mess of an O-line. They had really no weapons. I like what they've gone out and done this off season. Everything you hear about Drake May is that he's just that dude. He reminds me so much of Josh Allen, like with how big he is. He can make any throw like Josh Allen early in his career. He has to be really careful about, not always trying to make that throw. But the big thing was his legs. I mean, really, outside of Jaden Daniels, Lamar, Allen, and Hurts, nobody ran more than Drake May last year, and successfully, that played a majority of the games as a starting quarterback. And I still think he's going to be doing a lot of that because, again, I like the Travion Henderson addition at running back. Obviously, Stephon Diggs is going to be, just a good wide receiver that he can look for on third down and when he needs to move the chains. But, I mean, again, I'm not saying he is a top 10 quarterback overall. This is where me and Alan, our good buddy that, runs ESPN Richmond, he has a hard time understanding because he looks at it from actual football. And I'm like, we're not talking about actual football. We're talking about scoring fantasy points. And, again, you're getting 3 times the points for rushing that you're going to for passing. And Drake May, and I think it was 10 starts last year, rushed for over 500 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. That is a free 68 points right there just with his legs. So I do think he's going to be better in the pass, and he's going to continue to run a good bit.
Would you have Michael Penix in a top 10?
No. Again, like these guys that don't run, which Penix, he better not be running as a Falcons fan. He's had his, I think, both
might have to
worked on twice. I hope not. Like, again, like Bo Nix is somebody that's really interesting to me. I was very slow to get behind him, but he's another guy that he ran a lot last year, and I don't feel like Denver has, again, like a real solid running back. I like what the Patriots did with Travion Henderson, but he's not really a 3-down back either. I think he's more of a in-space, pass-catching back, which will help the offense, but I think Drake May is going to, like he did last year, be running in a lot. He ran, I think it was like 5.5 times per game in his starts, and the big thing was getting almost 1 to 1.5, red zone carries each game, which that's what's really big for those QBs. I mean, Jalen Hurts, just off the tush push, is basically a top 5 QB every year. And as great as Saquon Barkley was last year, imagine how good he would have been from a fantasy perspective if he'd ever got the ball on the 1. Because every time the Eagles would get down to the 1, they were going to run the tush push with Hurts.
So, Keith, how soon is too soon for me to be drafting my kicker or my defense and special teams?
I mean, if I don't have to draft a kicker or special teams, which it depends on what league you're in to start, I just won't draft them. And I take extra positional players because you can always pick up a kicker and defense right before week 1. That gives you a little bit more time if you have an earlier draft. If there's injuries or anything like that, you can take an extra flyer. And at the end of the day, like, defense is so random that I would rather, when it comes to defense, either do one or two, mentalities. There's one, you stream a defense basically every week where you're just looking for the worst offense that week of the available defenses, taking up that defense each week and running with it. Or what I also like to do is look at defenses that are going to play the most bad starting quarterbacks. We're talking about rookies, quarterbacks that are known for turning the ball over, etc. And that's usually where maybe I'll take a chance on them early in the season and pick them up. But it's just with turnovers, I mean, sacks sometimes you can predict, but overall where defenses really score points is on like pick sixes, special teams touchdowns, etc. I feel like that's all random, and I'd much rather take my chances with an actual player in that situation. Kickers, unless it's a league where you're getting big points for 40, 50-yard field goals, or say you're getting big points taken away for missing field goals, again, I'm just looking for a good offense kicker, and that's it. Like, I basically try to find whatever offense of the kickers that are left around here right before week 1 or at the very end of the draft if I have to take one that I think is going to score a lot of points, and that's the kicker I grab.
So who are some guys you're looking at in the first couple of rounds, might be some sleeper picks that are going to get me some good points per average on a game?
All right, so we'll just skip the first round because, I mean, I think that, you should be able to figure out your first round pick. I will say I really like having like the 11th or 12th pick this year because I just think there's so much value in the range, like and say like PPR ADP right now, from 11 to 20. Guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown. We saw what Derrick Henry did last year. I think the Texans offense is going to be really good. Again, you're going to see C.J. Stroud play a lot more like he did his rookie season than last year. That's very good news for Nico Collins. We saw how unbelievable Brian Thomas Jr. was last year, and that was without, Cohen, who just had that Tampa Bay offense humming, coming over, becoming the head coach. And I actually think the addition that they had will actually help him. And then, I love Drake London for the Falcons this year. That's not a homer pick. If you look at the games that Penix started last year, over 10 targets in those 3 games, basically caught 8 passes per just over 100 yards and had 3 touchdowns in those 3 games. And then Brock Bowers, I think people are sleeping on again, which is kind of crazy. Everything that he did last year, he did with basically no help on the offense and really below par quarterback play. Now he's got Geno Smith and Ashton Genty to take up a lot of attention. I like Jack Beck that they drafted this year, the wide receiver for TCU. I think that's only going to help Bowers have an even, bigger second year. Maybe obviously the catches aren't quite as much, but I think he has more yardage and more touchdowns. I think with the tight ends, you either need to take him or McBride in the first 2 or 3 rounds, or you just wait because I think that we're getting to that point where it's basically, if it's a pyramid, there's tier 1, and it's almost like you drop down to tier 3 when you get into the next group of guys. In that 3rd round, I love Rashee Rice and Devontae Adams. Rice, was becoming the Chiefs' go-to weapon in Kansas City when, unfortunately, it was Patrick Mahomes that, ran into him and basically tore up his knee. It was early enough in the season. All reports are he is a full go, and now the Chiefs have a lot of other pieces around him, and I just think, like Kelsey, he's going to be that security blanket for Mahomes where he's going to get 7-8 targets every game, and I think the Chiefs' offense is going to be really good. And then I just think people are sleeping on Devontae Adams. I know it wasn't great last year in Vegas and then with the Jets, but you're now going to a Sean McVay offense. You can have Puka Nacua on the other side of the field, which obviously is going to take up a ton of attention, and Matthew Stafford can still really sling that football. So I think Adams and that Rams offense is going to be really good. In that next round, kind of in that 30 to 40 range, JSN for Seattle, I don't know how many targets he's going to get this year, but it's definitely going to be a lot because they just don't really have anything else. They traded DK Metcalf. I would assume that that's, very good news for JSN, who really saw an uptick down the stretch anyway. And then, you get in that next round. When you start talking about sleepers, I always look at somebody like James Conner, who I feel is every year undervalued. And every year, him and Mike Evans are like the wide receiver and running back that every year you think that they can't continue to do what they've seemed to do now for a decade, and they just go out and Connors will have 1,000 rushing yards and 10, touchdowns. Mike Evans, same thing, will have 1,000 yards and 10 passing tower reception touchdowns. And then I really look at guys that are going to get huge volumes. So people like Calvin Ridley, where again, I get it. It's not a sexy situation in Tennessee. You got a rookie quarterback, but he is better than the quarterbacks that Ridley had last year, and I expect Tennessee to be down a lot. Teams that are down a lot throw all the time. That's really good news for them. Same thing for somebody like Chris Olave for New Orleans. He's another guy that's expected to be healthy at the start of the season, and I think that he's a really good player. Very interested to see T.J. Hawkinson in Minnesota. He's going around the 75 range. We all know that usually with these young quarterbacks, and it looks like J.J. McCarthy is going to be the starter, they lean on those tight ends a lot. And Hawkinson got a lot better near the end of the year, really kind of getting back from the injury. That was his 6th and 7th games from coming back from, pretty serious leg injury. I think he could have a really big year. And then again, that's where I start looking at some of these receivers and just, again, take these running backs in this ring, like the Tyrone Chase, Cam Scatterbook combo I really like. I love Jordan Mason for Minnesota. Najee Harris, I think, is still being slept on for the Chargers. I think he may still end up getting the red zone work. You can wait on running backs, in my opinion. I like taking the stud wide receivers and tight ends, especially in leagues you're getting a full point per reception.
All right, Keith Fleming, I appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us on this really nice Thursday afternoon. Mr. Fleming, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Prayers to Ryan and Beth. I know that, Beth lost her mom. That is a horrible thing to go through, but they're in my thoughts and prayers, and can't wait to have them back on the radio soon.
Thank you, Keith. That was Keith Fleming, writer on Fantasy Six Pack for DFS Golf and DFS Football. When we get back, it's time for our $2 bets and This Day in History. You are tuned in to the Inside Drive, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, live from the Golf Plus studios.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd. The Steelers are officially all in. I heard that a lot yesterday because they got Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, and tight end Jonnu Smith. Well, if they're all in, that's a pair of eights. Okay, that ain't pocket aces, folks. So if that's all in.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Weekdays, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Looking for dependable civil construction in the Florida Panhandle? CBC Construction has you covered. From land clearing and drainage to roads and underground utilities, CBC delivers high-quality work on time and on budget. Locally owned and operated, CBC is trusted by schools, developers, and municipalities. To learn more, call CBC Construction, 850-740-3815, or visit cbcconstruction.com. That's cbcconstruction.com.
There's a reason we call it the big one, because the biggest deals of the year are happening now at Panama City Toyota. And you can get 3.99% APR on the award-winning Camry, plus 90 days until you make your first payment, and 3.99% on the new RAV4, plus 90 days until you make your first payment. Get 2.99% on the Bolt Tacoma, or take the lead and get 1.99% on the powerful Tundra. The big one, right now at Panama City Toyota.
Offers expire August 4th. For details, visit PanamaCityToyota.com.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Now back to the Inside Drive, live and local from the Golf Plus studios. Welcome to the Inside Drive, the next big thing.
It's a big, huge, giant deal.
Sports betting, huge reactions, your calls and real-time coverage of the stories you're following on ESPN Northwest Florida.
You are tuned in to the Inside Drive, live from the Golf Plus studios. You can call the show. You can text the show, 850-215-6290. We are streaming on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Download our app. Take us with you everywhere you go. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is where the radio dial is currently located. Thanks so much, guys, tuning in, hanging out with us on this Thursday. Last segment for this Thursday. And during this section, we do our $2 bets and we go to This Day in History. So last night, my betting, not the best. Not the best. My one future bet is still out there with Rory McIlroy still to win the Open. I still got that one up and going, but both of my WNBA picks last night, No good. No bueno.
You lost $4.
I lost my $4. Didn't hit on either of the WNBA picks. Vegas only won by 4, and I had them at 5.5. And the score was over the 169.5, so no wins on either side of that one. Now, in the Liberty game, I did get the right pick with the Liberty to get the win, but the score did hit the over at 136.5, and I picked the under. Such is life. You can't win them all. Not a whole lot going on today in the world of sports because we are still in the All-Star break for Major League Baseball. And we have now hit the All-Star break for the WNBA, which that game is Saturday. So really, I'm having to go out there and reach for some props today. So what did I find? I found the Summer League for the WNBA, and we'll just go with a couple of short little ones here just for some fun. I got the Warriors plus 9.5 against the Raptors, and I am taking the under on this one at 184.5. I got $2 on it. If it hits, will return me $6.60. Staying in the Summer League, I got the Nuggets plus 9.5 against the Clippers. On that one, I am going to take the over at 180.5. So my $2 on that one will also return me $6.60 if it hits. And my last one for the evening, the Lakers taking on the Celtics. I'll take the Lakers to win, and I will take the over at 175.5. My $2 on that one, this is my big reach, will get me $7.50 coming back to me if I am correct. And I'm not done any of the Summer League games before, so this is a new little bit of territory for me. We'll just see how well that I do overnight, and tomorrow we'll give you an update.
I watched a game yesterday. It was Bucks and Bulls, and the Bucks had them by 10 points, and then the Bulls just went on an 11-0 run, and then I think the next run was 12-4. So they had back-to-back, back-to-back. You throw them together as 23-4 run, and the Bulls end up winning. But it looked like the replacements. I mean, you're looking at players that aren't,
So they still play by I'm guessing they still play by all the same rules and everything. There's nothing really.
There's no Savannah Bananas going on.
There's nothing too really different there to really associate it from the National Basketball Association.
They were trying to. I mean, it was a lot of hustle.
Oh, yeah. I mean, those guys are out there looking for and fighting for a job. It's basically kind of a preseason thing. Not really a preseason thing. It's more
this new thing that started just a few years ago, I don't know if it's been 4 years or how long it's been, this cup stuff in the NBA.
Beginning of the season.
And then who else is doing that now? The WNBA does that, right? Is that the only two leagues that does?
I'm going to say so. Yeah, baseball doesn't do
the Fever
it.
won this year.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So is that the only two leagues that do like an end-season cup thing?
The NHL does. Last year did the Four Nations.
Oh, so Sweden and
there was Sweden, Finland, U.S., Canada were the four teams in on that one. And it's the first time the NHL has ever done something like that. Basically putting in a break right there to match the exact same time the next season that the Olympic break would be happening.
So I think it's goofy. I think the cup in basketball is goofy.
I think it's a gimmick. They're running with it. They're still using it. They're still going to have it because, it gets enough ratings that, they're not going to turn down ratings. But I think it's kind of a gimmicky type thing. I'm not huge on it, but, if the teams I like to watch are playing, I still watch because it's sports.
But I think it's worse than them expanding the 10 teams in the playoffs to do the 7 versus 10 and 8 versus 9 type
that one's
situation.
Also weird to me.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, man. We were already stretching to put 8 teams in playoffs from each conference. Now we're doing 10?
Yeah, we're putting 10 in, and let's face it, how often, especially in the NBA, how often does the 8 move on?
The Heat. That's it. The Heat.
Because it's not.
They went all the way to the finals with Jimmy Butler.
Because hockey, I've seen the 8, beat the 1 numerous times, but in basketball, I just don't think there's the same variety there.
Oh, 8 beating a 1. I think it's I don't know. I think the Heat wasn't 8. I'm pretty sure they were. I think it's only happened 2 or 3 times, and the first one's very memorable. It was the Denver Nuggets. It was Mutombo.
Yeah, that would have been the Nuggets.
It was the Nuggets? Yeah. They upset Seattle Supersonics in the 90s, and I remember when it went down, when it happened, it was like...
And everybody's like, an 8 beat a 1.
8 beat a 1, you know, and NCAA tournament in college basketball... Virginia lost, 3 years ago, whatever.
To a 16.
To Maryland, Baltimore County.
University of Maryland, Baltimore County.
UMBC, and nobody knew that even existed.
The Chessies.
The Chessies?
Yeah, the Chesapeake Bay Retriever is the mascot.
The Retriever. Oh, okay, yeah.
The Chessies.
Okay. I was about to say, I didn't hear that one. I know a lot of mascots. You could quiz me on mascots, and I'm really good at it.
Yeah, Western Kentucky University, the blob, the big red blob.
Yeah. No, but I'm talking just like the not just the character, more so the team name.
Yeah.
Team name mascot.
Well, if you want a good one for Western Kentucky, the first Big Red was actually a fraternity brother that took the red shag rug out of his frat house and wrapped his body in it. And that was the first Big Red mascot. So if you want a good, save that one for you if you're ever in some kind of bar trivia.
My daughter had, she went to undergrad. She went to Louisiana Lafayette, which is the Raging Cajuns. And they had a cayenne pepper. But he's got a silly grin on his face. And I just thought it was the coolest thing, and they've done away with it.
Oh,
so sad. I know. I like the craziness. It was like the.
What do they got now?
They haven't officially named one. They're in the process. There's thoughts on some things, and they just haven't moved on it yet. But the funniest other one is the Fighting Okra of Delta State. If you ever seen, look it up.
So it's like
Fighting okra.
It's a total
It's an okra.
It's a green stemmed okra.
Stemmed okra. It's not cut. It's not cooked and put in a gumbo yet or anything like that. It's the Fighting Okra and is the best.
All right, this day in history. It is Thursday, July 17th, 2025. Happy Thursday, everybody. And on this day, 1941, Joe DiMaggio's hitting streak of 56 games is stopped by Al Smith in Jim Bagdi of the Indians before 67,000 fans in Cleveland.
That's a crowd.
That's a whole crowd.
And think about it, 1941, we're talking right before Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, we're talking right before the war, and we're talking about stadium, that had to have been standing room only probably in that thing. Because
there's no TV. There's radio is
radio out
just
there.
In its infancy, sort of.
So I guarantee that game was broadcast on the radio. I don't know about the TV. Highly doubt it was on the TV, but I guarantee you that it might have been on the radio.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Because Fireside Chats is about to happen. Oh, wait. Was that? Yeah, that was
there.
FDR.
Mm-hmm. That was FDR.
And so that happened right after this.
Yeah. 1974, Bob Gibson strikes out Cesar Giron and the Reds, and in the second inning becomes the second pitcher in Major League history to record 3,000 strikeouts. 1990, Minnesota becomes the first team in Major League history to pull off 2 triple plays in one game. But it isn't enough to get the victory over the Red Sox as the Twins lose it 1-0. And on this day, 2005, Tiger Woods records another ruthless performance at St. Andrews, closing with 2 under 70 to win the British Open for the 10th career major. He wins by 5 shots, the largest margin in a major since Woods won by 8 at St. Andrews 5 years earlier. He joins Jack Nicklaus as the only players to win career Grand Slams twice. Tiger was so good back in the day.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was head turners, and for people who weren't into golf, it got people interested. It got them on the edge of their seat. I don't even know how to. I guess Mike Tyson. I don't know who transformed a sport, to have people all interested where they're not normally.
Yeah,
fans,
just as one guy too.
One guy to just put all the. And I'm not saying anything about Caitlin Clark, okay?
Yeah.
Now the interesting part about that Twins team right there, 1990.
Yes.
They were a really good team. I think they had Gagne, Knobloch. I mean, they had some really good
Kirby
stars.
Puckett.
I think Kirby Puckett was on that team.
Yeah.
And then they went to the what do you call it? The World Series, beat the Braves.
Yep.
And that was the first World Series where the home team won every single game. It went 2-0, and then the Braves won 3 in a row. And then the Twins won the last 2 games to win it 4-3.
Yeah, it was. I do remember that series because that's one of the first World Series I kind of remember in my young little mind. But the show coming to a close. Thank you guys so much tuning in, hanging out. James Fife on the Inside Drive. With me today, LSU Jeff, Randy Williams, and you are hearing us live from the Golf Plus Studios, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Enjoy your Thursday, everybody. Keep it.
The next evolution in sports talk radio. We're back! On 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.